Welcome to the Port Hope Civic Awards ceremony. I'm York Bellsmith, your MC for tonight's celebration. I welcome you to this ceremony again from the screen as we embark on the second virtual awards presentation in Port Hope's history. This is our 33rd annual award ceremony, and on behalf of the entire municipality of Port Hope, I want to thank you for tuning in. You might notice the backdrop. We're actually filming from the Capitol Theatre, 20 Queen Street. Well, we're doing it safely, so that's just myself, 2 blue shirts, and Charlene, our theatre representative. And a big thank you to everyone who's been involved in facilitating this safe recording so we can maintain a layer of significance and tradition on this virtual Civic Award ceremony. The world is constantly changing, and we appreciate the help of everyone in the community who work to keep Port Hope a safe and healthy place to live. I'd also like to thank our recipients for working along with us to digitize this year's ceremony experience by sending in their pictures. Continuing with this civic tradition is really important as we are all helping the high-achieving hands that make up this year's list of recipients. The work you do inspire an active and interesting life for your friends and neighbors here in Northumberland, and we celebrate you. On behalf of the Civic Awards Committee and Port Hope Council, I invite Mayor Bob Sanderson to say a few words to kick off this exciting celebration.
Thank you, York, and welcome everybody. Today, we're here to acknowledge the outstanding contributions and achievements of our award recipients. So tonight is a celebration. This program has become a highlight on the calendar, providing much-deserved recognition to community members who are making efforts and doing great things. Our award categories give us a platform to showcase different and broad elements that make up our local culture. And we're fortunate to have a diverse and active population. You'll see how the impact of the combined efforts improve life across our community. And congratulations to all those who were nominated, and our sincere thanks to those who took the time to make a nomination. You know, without you, our nominators, there would be no Civic Awards. And thank you to York for coming back to our Civic Awards stage to help us make these special presentations. And to you, the audience, for joining us virtually to celebrate. I'm going to turn it over to you now, York.
Thanks, Mayor Sanderson. To start things off, we normally would be acknowledging outstanding citizens and youths of past in the live theater audience. This year, we would like to share with you an image listing all the past recipients of these prestigious 2 awards. A list of Port Hope's finest right there. On tonight's program, we will present awards in 7 categories and will name Outstanding Citizen and Youth of 2020. All these recipients were nominated by fellow members of the community. This is a special place, Port Hope. This year, we are going to begin with the agriculture category. We are now into May and spring is blooming around us. The Agriculture Award is presented to an individual or group who has had considerable impact in agriculture, has promoted agricultural awareness, and exhibited leadership in the agricultural community within the municipality of Port Hope. Tonight, we recognize Cindy Osland. With a heart for agriculture, teaching, and volunteering, Cindy Osland, who lives on a 4th-generation farm, has been a pillar in the local agricultural sector. She has been involved with the Port Hope and District Agricultural Society since 1997. She has delivered demonstrations in schools, talking about spinning and how yarn is made, beginning with fleece from the sheep right through to the final product. Her continued efforts to celebrate the fiber arts as a natural extension of her farm work is shown by her work with the knitting, rug hookers, and spinning guilds, and by holding dye days, which illustrate how to dye yarn using various natural items. Cindy has shown herself to be a resourceful and trusted voice within the agricultural community who strongly supports local producers and food education. She has a real passion for growing and providing food for others and understands the value and importance of providing fresh and farm-raised food. From home, join me in applauding Cindy. Next up is our arts and culture category. This award is presented to individuals or groups for the promotion of the arts, high achievement in the arts, and for significant cultural contributions to the community. Our first recipient in the Arts and Culture category is Arlene Smith. Arlene has been creatively supporting the Port Hope Santa Claus Parade since 2012 with handmade costumes that delight families and give life and personality to the parade. This volunteer effort has many layers, including sourcing fund and materials, managing inventory, recruiting volunteers, finding a location to transform into a fitting room, then storing the costumes from year to year. In 2020, she outdid herself with her participation in the Reverse Parade, where she designed and fitted 30 different colorful outfits on a team of smiling costume wearers. Arlene, thank you for sharing your talents and your whimsy with the Port Hope Santa Claus Parade. Our next recipient is Miles Bowman. Miles has devoted the past 5 years to enhancing the vitality and vibrancy of Port Hope through his volunteer work in the arts and culture sector. He has developed organization-shaping strategic plans and policies, helped craft marketing and communication efforts, and has contributed his grant writing skills to ensure these cultural organizations make valuable and lasting impacts on the community. In a particularly challenging year, Miles led the charge in new development by securing major provincial grants for the creation of a technology-forward arts and culture project for Port Hope in Northumberland County. Thank you, Miles. And our next recipient is the Farley Mowat Boat Roofed House Working Committee. Members include Anna Lynn Baxter, Bree Nixon, Charles Wickett, Claire Mowat, David Pimenter, Jan Hill, Gord Thompson, John Mowat, John Shaw Remington, Mary Shaw Remington, Paul Godin, and Stephen Smith. Throughout 2016, this working group met bi-monthly to honor a literary legend and notable Port Hope resident, Farley Mowat. Together, they planned the relocation of the dry stone wall structure from private lands to a prominent location on public lands downtown, ensuring public enjoyment for years to come. Along with the relocation, they hosted Following Farley, which was a fun, free, interactive event to coincide with the monument's move, and it included a wheelbarrow parade. A great team effort. Congrats to all involved for the heavy lifting. Many hands do make the work lighter, especially if the job is lifting stones. Continuing on with recognizing the helping hands of our community, we move into the community service category. This category recognizes individuals or groups that have had a leadership role or positively impacted the community with their actions. The volunteer efforts of the recipients in this category create experiences, programs, and services that our citizens have come to rely on. Let us start with celebrating Caitlin Thompson. Caitlin is an active volunteer and creative thinker who turned chocolate bombs into community support bombs. This delicious project, making and selling hot chocolate bombs, became exceedingly popular, and Caitlin took the money raised from the sales and bought $500 worth of toys to give to Queenie's Bake Shop's toy drive, and then donated another $1,100 of her proceeds to the Fair Share Christmas Dinner project hosted by Holton Flowers. Thanks to her, many children and families woke up Christmas morning with presents under the tree and full bellies. It doesn't get much sweeter than that, folks. Our next recipient is Michael Yip. Michael has shown a strong commitment to service during his 4 years at Trinity College School. He has volunteered in a wide range of service programs offered, from Activity for Life to Mastership, as well as being part of the Master Key program. And after school, he has put in many hours at Extendicare. Michael has given over 77 hours of his time to community service. Our next recipient is Loretta Hugh. She's an individual who always makes herself available to lend a hand whenever she can, and has gone above and beyond her required 40 hours of volunteer work to donate a total of 136 hours of service to our community. Loretta is an active member of the Trinity Cultural Awareness Group, both a library and science steward, and has been an impactful volunteer for other service initiatives. Loretta is a hardworking student and has committed her time to not only help the local community, but people across the world. And next is Nolan Finn. With over 150 hours of service, Nolan continues to volunteer within the TCS and Port Hope communities, frequently assisting in the athletics and admissions departments. Nolan is an active member with Big Brothers and Big Sisters Northumberland, where he organizes and plans activities for the littles in the program and is a role model for the younger children as well as his peers. His positive attitude and energy are evident in his work and his positions in the community. Thanks, Nolan. Now we would like to recognize the volunteers who deliver the Active, Fit, and Fun Exercise program at the Community Health Center of Northumberland. These volunteers lead classes that provide participants an avenue to find a sense of belonging and connection to others in the community while also maintaining their overall health. When the pandemic started, these dedicated volunteers have been able to pivot to offer this program twice a week through a virtual space, and has recently added a virtual exercise class which is focused on balance and gentle movement. Here is the list of the energetic volunteers. Phyllis Basile. Since 2013, Phyllis has volunteered over 500 hours, proving herself as dedicated, client-focused, and determined. Louise Sertonsky. Since 2017, Louise has dedicated over 355 hours of her own time to the CHCN, showing herself as a compassionate and reliable volunteer. Colleen Budd. Since 2017, Colleen has given over 400 hours of volunteer time working with several of the facility's programs, doing it all with an amazing sense of humor. Betty Finney Hunt. Betty has been with CHCN since March 2017, dedicating over 250 hours of her time, showing herself as a flexible and kind-hearted volunteer. Vicky Bobiash. Vicky has given over 375 hours volunteering with CHCN, helping others in a number of different programs in her compassionate and client-focused way. Patricia Bylock. Since 2017, Pat has been a dedicated, honest, and hardworking volunteer, giving over 210 hours to the programs at CHCN. Victoria Manili. As a confident, out-of-the-box thinker, Victoria has been a valuable volunteer for the CHCN, dedicating over 185 hours of time since 2017. The time these volunteers provide is invaluable, and these free classes would not continue without their support. Thank you to all 7 of these ladies. High fives all around. Our next recipient is Tammy Staples. In 2020, she used her spare time to run a jammy drive in the community. Over 400 pairs of pajamas were collected, and the jammies were given to underprivileged children from Highland Shore CAS on Christmas Eve. This initiative reminded many of these youth that there are people within the community who are thinking about them and want them to know that they cared. Jennifer Mercer. Jennifer is active within the community, and 2020 was no exception. This past year, she organized a community thank you parade for first responders. She reached out to the Capitol Theatre to help them with some creative ideas to encourage new fundraising efforts, and she organized a fundraiser for the Kieran family to offer support and kindness in a time of tragedy. We recognize these next 2 recipients for their service on the Port Hope and District Chamber of Commerce Board, James White and Betsy Price. Over the past 7 years, James has been a committed leader and mentor serving on the board. In 2020, he was the immediate past president and has also served as director and vice, all active roles that require dedication. Betsy has been an active, engaged leader for the Chamber of Commerce for the past 7 years. She has provided extraordinary representation and voice for the agricultural, small and women-led businesses within our community. She is a dedicated, caring advocate and has served as director and vice president during her term. Now let us talk about the Port Hope Fair Share Food Bank. The Fair Share volunteers have been supporting the Port Hope community for years, and with the onset of a global pandemic, they continue to offer their services in the name of food security. This team, with careful planning, was able to provide uninterrupted service to our neighbors in need throughout this COVID era. In addition, this group coordinated and completed a successful location move, which required extreme effort and many additional days beyond their regular volunteer commitments. These volunteers showed great flexibility, adaptation, and commitment to service through all the scheduling and distribution method changes, and continued to be attentive from one week to the next, ensuring the job was done. A big thank you tonight to the Port Hope Fair Share Food Bank. Continuing with recognizing exceptionally hard-working organizations within our community, we now want to highlight the Port Hope Rotary Club. This past December, the Rotary Club of Port Hope generously covered the cost of the Rolls Transit service for seniors in our community. To make the holiday even more special, they set up a special nighttime tour called See the Holiday Lights. Their caring actions gave seniors the opportunity to go on free-of-charge bus tours, taking them throughout the township to see the holiday lights, helping their spirits remain bright. Thank you to all members of the club for putting service before self, right here in Port Hope. Let's take a moment now to acknowledge the community work that takes place online by recognizing the I Love Port Hope admin. This small group has been working together to run the town's largest Facebook page, which promotes all things we love about Port Hope. This online site has had a huge impact on our community, the events, and local businesses, connecting our community in a positive and effective way to the information they need. These volunteers are leaders in positive community development and have worked to create a page that many residents rely on. Next up on our community service list are the Chemical Capital Arts Center volunteers. The Capitol relies on a phenomenal group of volunteers. These folks are the goodwill ambassadors of this historic landmark and cultural hub. The volunteers run all the functions of the front of the house and back of the house to ensure a welcoming atmosphere. Certainly 2020 looked very different than normal. However, there was still a ton of action by these volunteers who reached service anniversaries for their ongoing commitment. Celebrating 5 years of service tonight are Eleanor Stanley, Betty McIntosh, Ricarda Renner, Vincy Spikuluk, Rita Zirin, Doris Batar, Glenn Case, Joanne Aitchison, and Elizabeth Stewart. Next up are 5 individuals who have given 10 years of service to this theater. Ray Avery, Sadie Avery, Margaret Benz, Beverly Chrysomalis, and Margaret Dara. Celebrating 15 years of dedicated service is Kathy Case. Thank you, Kathy, for your dedication. Continuing on to recognize Lorna Abrams for her 2-decade involvement with the theater. Thank you, Lorna, for your 20 years of passionate service. And last, we extend a special thank you to Barbara and Peter Bolton, who have been volunteering with the Capitol Theatre for 25 consecutive years. Your work behind the scenes and contributions to the annual Festival of Lights and Trees is celebrated and appreciated. From home, folks, please give a round of applause to Barbara and Peter for a well-deserved Community Service Award. It takes many dedicated people to create and maintain a strong and vibrant community, and these recipients tonight are an example to us all. At this time, we would like to introduce the chair of the Port Hope Civic Awards Committee, Carrie Lee Kroger, to say a few words and introduce the next category.
Thank you, York, and hello, viewers. Thanks for tuning in. We're about to present our next category. This is the Inspiration Award, truly a category that motivates me every year. I hope watching this ceremony inspires you to get involved in the community in a project that calls you to see what magic you can create. I've been the chair of the Civic Awards Committee for 3 years, and I have read an incredible number of Civic Award nominations. In these thoughtful nominations, I've learned about the hours people spend volunteering, the attention it takes to see big ideas come to life, the effort it takes to forge community connections, and to create lasting legacies. Recipients in this category show us what action looks like. They take a lead by example approach and get others involved in the amazing things they do and lend unflinching support in challenging times. It's my honor to join York tonight in honoring these 6 different and very inspiring recipients.
That's right, Carrie. And tonight we kick off this category with acknowledgement of Brandon Bliss. A good friend and neighbor to many, Brandon came across an accident while taking his daughter to daycare. As a volunteer firefighter at Station 3 in Garden Hill, and despite his personal attachment to the children involved in the accident, he focused in on how he could best help, jumping into action without a second to waste. Using his skills, he was able to provide essential information about the accident to his colleagues en route, make the scene safe for other potential vehicles, tend to 2 children, and provide support to others on the scene. These quick actions and decisive thinking allowed first responders to attend to the scene as quickly as possible. In the midst of a tragic situation, Brandon showed strength, focus, calmness, leadership, and resilience to help save a life. Now let's bring our attention to the inspirational Trish Dryden. Upon moving to Port Hope in 2017, Trish immediately jumped into an active social, cultural, and service-oriented life where she volunteered at many community events and activities, including the Jazz Festival and Song, Sounds of the Next Generation. Driven by grit, talent, and dedication, Trish has worked as president and chair of the Song Board, rising to meet the challenges of 2020 at a time when music and connection never mattered more. Throughout her 2.5-year tenure as chair, Trish helped conceive, develop, and source funding for an exciting new program for older youth by combining technology and music. Trish shows us through her volunteer work with Song of her commitment to quality inclusion and her belief that music can change the life of the children she helps. She really is a force, folks. Let's give it up for Trish. Now allow me to introduce you to Paul Griffin. Over 20 years ago, Paul Griffin established his own charity called the Hills of Hope to help inspire the community to move more and to help raise funds for those affected by cancer. During that time, Paul has spearheaded countless fundraisers through his charity, from golf tournaments, toy drives, fundraising for the Canadian Cancer Society, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, the Salvation Army, and 24-hour bike relays. And through these efforts, his fundraising has totaled almost $100,000 for these worthy causes. Over the years, he has also inspired countless individuals to run marathons, motivating them to believe in themselves no matter what, becoming their coach and cheering them on with a never-quit attitude. For his next fundraiser, he plans to walk for 24 hours in his volunteer firefighter gear, then run 100 kilometers. He shows tireless commitment and is driven to make a difference in his community through his inspiring and motivating actions that have touched thousands of people. Paul, congratulations, man, and thank you. And now we recognize Colleen Bulger. Colleen is a breast cancer survivor who exhibited much grace and humor throughout her cancer treatments and subsequent healing. She now uses her experiences to help mentor others going through cancer treatments. And when the Canadian Cancer Society annual Relay for Life was canceled due to COVID-19, Colleen set to work to organizing a virtual drive-by event which raised in excess of $8,000 in donations. And then knowing that many people were at home without the normal social interactions, Colleen developed a way for many people to play trivia online. Since she started this fun interactive game night, over 60 people have joined with her, playing alongside her and her nephew Jack. Colleen is known as a highly inclusive leader within the community who brings joy to many. Next, we honor Margaret McCauley. Margaret has shown herself to be an inspiration in every volunteer organization and committee that she has participated in, and often assumes a leadership position. She is always willing to do extra duties, offer positive, helpful feedback, and connects with care and compassion to those around her. She is responsible, persistent, meticulous in detail, and generous with her time and skills. Margaret is a notable supporter of local business, a volunteer at the Port Hope Art Gallery and Shop, where she serves as treasurer, sits on the board of directors, and runs the promotions. She is also an executive member of the Canadian Federation of University Women and sits on the scholarship committee that, among other things, provides a scholarship check to a Port Hope High School graduate. Our last Inspiration Award is given posthumously to Kathy Nevin. Kathy was an everyday hero, someone whose kindness might be overlooked because it was given so freely and joyfully to everyone she met. She went through life as someone who shared her huge heart and loved people openly without holding back. Throughout her life, Kathy was creative, often sharing her painting, photographs, and Christmas ornaments with family and friends. But it was on the stage that she took her greatest risk and found her groove when she joined the Northumberland Players. Years afterwards, she would beam and break into song when the moment struck. People like Kathy, when they leave this life, leave a legacy of hope for a kinder world. A world that has more big smiles, big hearts, more passion for the arts, more baking, more singing, more laughter with their family, friends, strangers, and children. Her kind soul was a blessing on this earth. Kathy's award is being accepted by her loving family, and tonight all of Port Hope takes a moment to remember and celebrate her. Well, we now have just 3 categories left to go. Up next is our Philanthropy Award. This is given to an individual or group for their outstanding desire to promote the welfare of others through donations of money, goods, talent, or service. To find our first recipient, you'll have to visit Peter Street, where you'll find Papa's Pizza Land, Port Hope. Papa's Pizza Land has been actively running fundraisers for several organizations, such as Beatrice Strong Public School, St. Anthony's Catholic School, and the Cadets. This past year, as traditional fundraising was not possible, Papa's Pizza Land rose to the occasion, hosting fundraising and promotion nights, but then stepped up and matched the funds raised from their own pockets. The amount raised and donated by the hardworking team at Papa's Pizza Land is now the majority of the parent council budget at Beatrice Strong Public School for this entire year. The staff and students at BSPS are overwhelmed by this generous act of kindness, and the community thanks you, Papas. For many years now, our next recipient, Adam Pearson, has been giving back to the community and helping to connect and support neighbors. He has made free community dinners at Christmas and Thanksgiving, organizes an annual holiday toy drive, bought new coats and boots, and distributed them to dozens of kids and adults for the winter. He has bought and distributed gift cards from local businesses to give people encouragement to support local, and raised charity funds at the premiere of the It movie. Adam is a generous and empathetic community supporter and never stops dreaming of ways to give. Wow, what an amazing group of community-driven volunteers we are honoring here tonight. Just inspiring. Before we move on to our final 2 awards presentations, I'd just like to take a moment to reflect. back on the very first time I stepped up on the stage at the Capitol Theatre to host the Civic Awards ceremony, just prior to becoming a member of the Civic Awards committee. It was such an inspiring moment, relatively new to the area, and seeing the excitement of people coming in, sitting backstage and reading the scripts and all about what everybody had done. I was just blown away. It's giving me goosebumps now to talk about it. To see the excitement on the faces of everybody in the audience, a packed theater, every single award ceremony. You coming out to honor your friends, your family, your neighbors, and those that care for you. It truly is something I cannot wait to get back to. Last year was our very first virtual one, and we did it at Town Hall. And it came to the point where we were recording our presentation of our next two awards, the Outstanding Youth and Outstanding Citizen. Karen O'Hara and Spencer Watson were the recipients. At that point, restrictions had lifted to a degree where we could have a few people together, and we did it virtually again. It was inspiring, though, again, to read those stories, like the stories I'm going to read in just a little while, of tonight's recipients of Outstanding Youth and Outstanding Citizen. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're back to this year now. We're going to prepare to bestow the outstanding title to two more individuals. Now, during these times, more than ever, we are faced with considering what it means to be a good citizen, a helpful neighbor, and a community champion. To be a problem solver, a doer, a dreamer, one that takes action, inspires action, and helps keep our community connected. It is these characteristics that define our next two recipients, that and their adaptability. These two had to pivot with us in the development of this ceremony production and accepted their award without you in their midst. Here's hoping we can visit this theater together to watch this ceremony later this year. Wouldn't that be great? But for now, we present tributes and acceptance speeches filmed safely from the theater for this production. So without further ado, Outstanding Youth. I gotta say, it's really cool to be in the theater on the stage to do these final two award presentations. The Outstanding Youth Award is presented to an individual in recognition of outstanding achievements and volunteer contributions within their school and the community. This year's Outstanding Youth is a born leader who is continuously looking for opportunities to share her knowledge, guide her peers, and help others achieve success. This Outstanding Youth has logged more than 600 hours of community service. And in fact, the only thing that prevented her from reaching her long-time goal of 1,000 hours volunteered before graduation were COVID-19 restrictions. She began volunteering as a lunch monitor at Ganaraska Trail Public School. She also assisted in the kindergarten classrooms and provided support for other students in the extended French program. Now in high school, she maintains a 90-plus average in pre-university and extended French courses and has received awards for having the highest average in physical education, history, geography, environmental science, and law, all while continuing her exceptional community service commitments and working part-time at a local restaurant to save for university. This Outstanding Youth is a longtime clarinet player and member of the high school orchestra, and a member of the varsity dance team, and she plays on the Port Hope High School varsity rugby team, often acting as captain. She has served as communication minister, participated in school events such as Link Crew, Fast for Funds, the annual Christmas craft sale, the Terry Fox Run, and the Spartan Race. Within the community, she has been a part of the Rotary Interact Club, the Canadian Firefighters Museum, the Port Hope Agricultural Society plant sale, and she has served as an activity leader at the Farmers Market and as an ambassador for the Port Hope Fall Fair. Jordan Mapley, by all accounts, is an exceptional human. Not only because of her hard work and community service, but because she cares so deeply about the world and those in it. She treats everyone with kindness and dignity and is truly dedicated to learning and doing all she can to enrich herself, her school, and her community. Congratulations, Jordan.
My mother and I moved here in the summer of '09, and in less than a week, one of our neighbors walked down a pamphlet for the Port Hope Rec Center. Within the next 2 weeks, I joined the summer camps and very quickly learned a whole bunch about the Port Hope community. Throughout the years, I have been able to, through the kindness of everyone's hearts in Port Hope, go on an exchange to Germany and spend a year there talking about how amazing the town was And most people already knew it through movies like It, Murdoch Mysteries, and all the incredible things that people here do. Port Hope has touched my heart in so many ways, and it breaks my heart to have to leave this year. I'm incredibly thankful to everyone who has played a part in my volunteer work, in my school life, and in my home life. Due to COVID-19, I was not able to volunteer as much as I had hoped the last 2 years, but I did indeed still reach out to a lot of people and get to surpass many of my goals, even though they were cut short. I would just like to say thank you to every single person who nominated me, who accepted me into the community, and I would just like to say a very big thank you to the Port Hope Civic Awards.
Well, folks, we've arrived at our grand finale, the final scene. This outstanding citizen's passion for community service and his natural leadership has enabled him to preserve and celebrate local heritage and tradition within Port Hope. He does all this while spreading joy and bringing success and notoriety to the projects he is involved with. He is a generous neighbor, always willing to lend a hand with whatever task needs tending to. His helpful, problem-solving attitude is put to work in many ways throughout our community. As a founding member of the Port Hope Agricultural Heritage Club, his work has been instrumental. In 2007, this outstanding citizen's resilience was tested when the club's building was issued an eviction notice. With limited funds and no thought of giving up, he took the opportunity to replace the old building with a newer facility that better fit the club's needs. After a tremendous amount of personal effort and work, in 2012, the club was able to open up its own brand new facility. Naturally, this was not the end for him. Following that achievement, he planned an extension which occurred in 2014. This means the club currently has 2 buildings filled with treasured antiques that help to preserve this area's heritage. And as you guessed it, he's set his sights on new improvements. Through all of this, he has helped expand membership as well, which has grown from beyond its 6 members when it first opened to now, today, 265. In 2010, this outstanding citizen joined the Float Your Fanny event committee, bringing in much-needed energy and stability to the annual planning team. He was able to inspire a complete rejuvenation of the event, each year bringing new enhancements, community partnerships, grant money, economic impact, and media coverage. All of this together ultimately elevated the event itself to a professional standard beyond none. He also served on the Wesleyville Cemetery Board, participated in the Canada Day and Santa Claus parades, assisted with improving the audio at the Remembrance Day ceremony, delivered Salvation Army Christmas hampers, and hosted the Early Years Family Night Barbecue. This recipient has volunteered with First Port Hope Beavers and at the Ganaraska Trail Public School, where he dedicated countless hours to the playground built raised garden beds outside the kindergarten classroom, volunteered at numerous school fundraisers, trips, and athletic events. Barry Adamson, best known in the community as the Bear. He is truly positive, outgoing, helpful, caring, delightful, and I can personally attest, a wonderful person. Barry, today we celebrate you for your years of service, the countless hours of time and energy that you have dedicated to many projects, initiatives, and successes you have led. Thank you and congratulations, Bear.
Thank you, York. Receiving this award is an incredible honor for me, and thank you for the fine read you did. There are many worthy people in this town who deserve this, and I'm overwhelmed to be the one accepting it. It is a pleasure to be able to be part of making this town a wonderful place to live. I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for the incredible support and dedication from all the volunteers who helped me succeed with all my crazy ideas. It is people like Earl Ashby, the president of the Antique Club, and all the guys who come out every week to fix and repair antiques. Then there's the 50-plus individuals who make Float Your Fanny a fun and superb event for this town. These are the people who make it possible for me to contribute what I have to the community. In my mind, this award should be renamed the Outstanding Family of the Year Award. My wife Brenda's encouragement and understanding has allowed me to commit countless hours to my endeavors. My son Brent gives me help and expertise in many projects. My daughter Barry Lee is my co-chair in Float Your Fanny and is always at my side, no matter what the event is. She and her husband, Richard, do a wonderful job of keeping me in control and headed in the right direction. My grandsons, Owen and Lachlan, pitch in and help in whatever I drag them into. They are our leaders of the future and are learning firsthand the importance of working hard, treating volunteers right, and having fun, no matter the task. I'm also here because of the support from the town staff and council, especially Jeannie Maidens, who is just one of the other unsung heroes on my ventures. As with the Academy Awards, there are many people I should be thanking. Even though I don't say your name, you know who you are. I appreciate all you do, for spending your time listening to me, and most importantly, getting the job done in a way that makes the town and I look good. Well, Bob, if this pandemic ever goes away and we can start running events again, and I still have my health, I will be glad to contribute to the town in whatever manner I can. Last but not least, thank you, committee, and my nominators for choosing me to receive this prestigious award. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Congratulations, Barry. What a well-deserved tribute. And congratulations once again to all our recipients. I'm very proud to be part of this unique and vibrant community, and very fortunate as mayor to have had the opportunity to work alongside so many of you. Your passion, dedication, and energy are second to none, and I'm pleased that your contributions have been recognized this evening. To echo sentiments from earlier tonight, volunteers really are the foundation of community life, and I thank you for your work here in Port Hope. If you were nominated to receive an award, please consider paying it forward by nominating someone next year. Our community has so many unsung champions, wielding many forces for good and for competition. Let us continue to honor those who expel great effort. Let's continue to lift each other up, celebrate our good news, and plan together for a brighter future. With collaboration and care, our efforts can take us anywhere. And with that said, our sincerest thanks go to the Civic Awards Committee for coordinating this modified ceremony. Lots of necessary pivots again this year. I know it takes a great deal behind the virtual stage to make everything come true. So kudos to all of you, and thank you, Port Hope. Stay safe, have fun.
Thanks, Bob, and thank you for tuning in. It has been a real pleasure to share with you the stories and the opportunity to recognize our friends and our neighbors here in Port Hope at this Civic Awards ceremony, again, being done virtually. Your community pride and generous and supportive efforts give me hope for our future, as I'm sure it does you as well. We've heard amazing stories of real work being done by real people. Your passion and your actions provide so much life right here in the municipality of Port Hope. I cannot wait for next year's ceremony.